everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Folks, my first guest tonight is currently in his third term as a senator from the great state of Connecticut. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Senator Chris Murphy. But before we get into anything else, right off the top, I just want to point out and let everybody know that you've been a tireless advocate for gun control for years now. And as you know, and I think most of the people out here know, today there was another tragic shooting.
Yeah.
This time at an ICE facility down in Dallas.
Yeah.
We don't know a lot about it so far. What goes through your mind when you hear about another shooting like this?
Well, Stephen, you're right. We don't know all the details here. But what really goes through my mind first is the families in Sandy Hook, Connecticut, right? I mean, I lived through that horror. Those parents, were my age at the time, are now friends of mine. And I know how your life is fundamentally changed, the trauma that ripples through a family and a community when you lose a loved one. We know there's one person dead here, two critically injured. And for me, it's first and foremost about the victims. And it's then quickly about this anger, this anxiety that we all have about why we can't make a simple decision as a nation to put an end to this violence, whether it be mass violence, whether it be shootings on our streets, whether it be political violence. And we don't yet know, the motives here, but we are obviously amidst a moment with an increase in political violence, and it just shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter whether the radicalization comes from the right or the left or some non-ideological place in the deep, dark recesses of the internet. This president, our entire political process could make a decision to draw a line in the sand. And it just sickens me that we have a president who, instead of trying to stand up and say wherever the violence comes from, it's unacceptable, is politicizing this moment. So it's about the victims, and it's about a mourning of a loss of a potential moment to bring this country together.
Well, I mean, there really has been much movement to rein in the access to long guns and many of the weapons that are used in these killings. But I mean, hopefully, maybe there could be a political sea change in the United States. We just saw an unexpected change the other day at the UN. President Trump, who had basically told Zelensky in the White House earlier in the year, you don't hold any of the cards. You're in no negotiating position here. You're losing this war. He said he met with Zelensky, and then he came out in support of Ukraine and said that Ukraine could win the entire country back, including Crimea.
Right.
What happened? Do you know? Do you have any idea why that would happen?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what happened yesterday, right? And something different will happen tomorrow. No, I mean, it's like, every day on Ukraine and tariffs, he's just rolling the dice. And one day it's a 5, and the next day it's an 11. The fact of the matter is, he has done nothing substantive to help Ukraine win this war. He has had the opportunity to push Congress to pass new sanctions against Russia. He has stopped that legislation from proceeding. He has had the opportunity to bring a new funding bill before Congress to make sure that Ukraine has everything that they need. So despite what he said at the UN yesterday, the actions don't match his words. And at some point, the only way that Ukraine is going to win this war, recapture territory, is for the United States to make a bipartisan commitment to make sure that Ukraine wins and Russia loses. I hope he does that, puts his money and his political advocacy where his mouth was yesterday.
We were talking earlier in the show. They're all happy that our friend Jimmy's back on the air,
yes,
which is lovely. You're a big advocate of free speech. You give a warning. But before we get into that, I've got a little bone to pick with a video you posted this weekend.
Stephen Colbert is gone. Jimmy Kimmel is gone now. You need to see what is happening right now. It is the systematic destruction of free speech in this country.
I'm right here.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. I read my pink slip. I know what's coming in May. I'm not saying you're just a little bit ahead of the ball here.
Yeah, no, when I
Yeah.
watched that back, it does look like I don't believe you exist.
Right.
And you
I do
exist.
exist,
Yeah, you
not
exist.
just in your
So,
hearts.
I apologize.
No. I accept. I accept. But this is a little bit of a crazy moment right now.
Yeah, it is, and I just do think we need to sort of understand what they are trying to do. This is
Overtly, like he's saying, and Kimmel's next when I was dismissed, and then after this, Fallon and Seth are next. Like there's no other way to sugarcoat this.
That's exactly right. And what he is trying to do is send a signal to everybody else who either has a mouthpiece on television or the internet or is involved in the political process that there will be a price to pay for speaking up. Sometimes that price will be that you lose your job or you lose your position on a media outlet. Other people will actually go to jail over engaging in free speech. And what is so important is that in the wake of that cancellation of the Jimmy Kimmel Show, this country decided to stand up, decided to say enough is enough. Hit that cancel button on their Disney subscription enough that Disney changed their mind. And so this was a moment of real crisis, but it was a moment where the country decided that it's not too late. This nation has decided we are not going to be afraid of a would-be dictator, that we still have power, commercial power and political power, and I think it's evidence of what is to come.
We have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more. Senator Chris Murphy, everybody. Stick around.